After the Fourth Great Ninja War, the world, they thought that the real danger was over. Treaties were signed, borders were relaxed, and a whole new generation of shinobi, they started rising up faster than anyone expected. But there was just one problem. This new generation, they were too talented, too confident, and too inexperienced to realize how close they were to dying on every mission. In one post-Fourth Great Ninja War mission, Kankurō nearly watched his own student get killed by an S-rank rogue ninja using Magna Release, controlling enough strength that he could be described as being a walking natural disaster. And the scary part, the kid didn't lose because he was weak. He lost because he thought he understood real combat, when in reality he didn't. That moment right there, that was a quiet warning shot for the Boruto-era that will begin in less than a couple of years, when Boruto and Shikadai and Inojin, etc. will be born. Because this wasn't just a battle, it was a lesson about prodigies who had never seen true war, and how talent without experience, it breeds overconfidence, and how hatred feels justified right up until the moment where it turns you into the very thing that you're trying to stop. Instead of finishing the fight with rage, Kankurō turns it into a teaching moment, one that directly challenges the cycle of hatred that Naruto fought to break, and exposes how fragile that ideal really is when the next generation hasn't earned it the hard way. Join me in today's newest Naruto Explained video on the new episodes of After Naruto Shippuden and Gaara Hiden, a Sandstorm Mirage, where we're going to break down the time that Kankurō almost got a student killed, how an S-rank rogue ninja nearly proved that peace was an illusion, and why this single mission quietly predicted one of the biggest flaws of the Boruto-era long before Boruto Uzumaki was ever born: the issue of the younger, talented shinobi growing extremely skilled and powerful at rates that were faster than the ninja before them, but the lack of battle experience, it caused them to lower their guards at times, and their naive way of viewing the world is simply right or wrong, black or white, and not realizing the gray area that the shinobi world lives in. For those of you guys who are new, After Naruto Shippuden is a series here on the channel where we take a look at the epilogue stories that take place between Naruto chapter 699 and chapter 700, better known as the blank period, because not all of those stories were animated by Naruto Shippuden due to the rush to start Boruto content, and the ones that were animated, being blunt, they cut out crucial information, they made changes to the story, they got adapted out of order, so forget everything you thought you knew about what happened after the war. Both playlists will be linked in the description box for your convenience. Now, the information in this video will be coming from Gaara Hiden, a Sandstorm Mirage, which was written by former Boruto writer Ukyo Kodachi and the co-writer of the Boruto movie. This story is set several months after Naruto and Hinata's wedding, but before Sasuke begins to wrap up his redemption journey, which included looking into the early days of the Akatsuki as we knew it. For context, Kankurō by this point in the story is out with his student, an extremely talented young shinobi who, due to his age, was too young to fight in the Fourth Ninja War. So think of him as being a couple years younger than Konohamaru, but his skill and his power, they were already well above his assigned rank, with his skill and power already easily Jonin level. Flawed in some areas, but overall easily Jonin level. The S-rank ninja that they're fighting is a rogue Stone Village ninja, who both has Magna Release as well as was missing from the Hidden Stone Village for a long time, having carried out one of the most foul crimes that a shinobi can ever do, which is to kill his 3 Genin students, the very students that a Jonin was charged with raising as shinobi until they became Chunin. This ninja was written in the bingo book for having killed the 3 Genin that he had, killed their families, and killed innocent civilians before going into hiding. Some of this stuff that the shinobi did, it should make you pause for a moment, given that we're told he's done some high-level stuff, like him changing chakra shape to a point where he is also combining the chakra natures of Magna Release and Lightning Release simultaneously in a way where he is making objects that are as tall as the tallest Akimichi clan members who use expansion jutsu in the war. So that would be Choji and Choza when they fought against the Gidomazu statue, which is why Kankurō is surprised by the speed of the objects that are created, and he gets a PTSD flashback to the battle with the Ten Tails, which reminds Kankurō that big objects can move fast too, but he keeps himself calm, breaking down the jutsu that is being used, because the shinobi was using chakra strings like a puppet master, but in a different way than the Sand Village ninjas use chakra strings that are puppet masters, and by different, I mean inferior. So Kankurō, being the greatest puppet master to have ever existed, as proven in the war, he was the one best suited to have taken him down. However, it's during this battle that Kankurō has to step in, and he gets extremely serious because his talented student is injured badly enough that he thinks for a moment he's been reunited with his dead mother in the afterlife, and Kankurō has to break the news to him that he was indeed still alive, and that manly man of a face that was staring at him was indeed not his student's mother, despite the fact that Kankurō was wearing eyeshadow and makeup. It's in the moments after that Kankurō is able to take down the shinobi that we see, and Kankurō turns the entire battle that almost ended fatally into a teaching moment for a student. With the scene and the context being set, it's here I'm going to read the selected scene from the story, and then I'm going to come back to you guys with my thoughts, and it's here that I quote. Raijinga, Jonin terrorists from the Stone Village, you're under arrest, Kankurō said. And not a second later, the runaway missing ninja, Raijinga, his mouth and his hands, they were covered in shackles. It went without being said that these shackles were to prevent the criminal from committing suicide and from using ninjutsu. No biting of the tongue, no weaving hand sign. We aren't going to kill him, Kankurō-sensei, Amagi asked. He had a vexed expression on his face. He killed all 3 of his students. Why is he still alive? He killed citizens. Kankurō paused. Is that so? Kankurō asked. Kankurō was long past the stage where he felt emotionally overwhelmed at the number of deaths. In the war, he had seen hundreds of shinobi die. He looked at his student. Do you want to kill him? He asked Amagi. Yes, Kankurō-sensei. All right then, you can kill him, Kankurō said, placing a kunai into Amagi's hand. But you can only kill him if you can guarantee that you can bring back the Genin, their families, the citizens that he murdered. How about it? Can you do that? You still want to kill him? Kankurō asked. Kankurō-sensei, that's Amagi began, but Kankurō cut him off. If you can't do that, then after you kill him, then you're just going to have to die as well. Putting aside what this bastard's relations done, and putting aside what the village would do if you kill him, a dead shinobi doesn't carry the secrets that people want returned. A dead shinobi is just as pointless as a chunk of flesh. I don't need a subordinate who creates such pointless things, Kankurō said. Kankurō-sensei, I won't do it, Amagi said. Amagi had given a good response. If he managed to survive a few more battles over the years, Kankurō was sure he'd become a good shinobi. Amagi, Kankurō said, when it comes down to it, I want to kill him too. I want him dead as much as you do. Kankurō-sensei, Amagi said, he's a terrorist for hire. He's a rogue ninja. Even if we're only looking for the number of victims we know, he's killed over 100 little girls. Of course, nobody wants to let him live. He's worse than scum, Kankurō said. He was looking down at their captive as they spoke, blindfolding his eyes. But if we kill him out of hate, then we're not going to be anything different than him. We can't be like this guy. This is the new era. Shinobi are those who endure, Kankurō said. Shinobi are those who endure, Amagi repeated. Exactly, Kankurō said, and gave a broad grin. All right, let's go home. You guys safely completed a 8-rank mission today. It's something to celebrate. I'll treat you guys to a heap of lamb roast. End quote. So if this doesn't make you a Kankurō fan, I don't know what will. Allow me to explain why you should care. Kankuro's fear wasn't that the next generation was weak. It was that they were too strong, they were too early, and they don't yet understand what all that power actually costs and the responsibility that comes with it. In the years after the 4th Ninja War, shinobi training obviously accelerated at an unprecedented pace because there was no open cold warfare. Shinobi like Kankurō could put a lot of time and energy into training the Genin that were under their charge, to the point where they could accelerate growth at a rapid pace because that's literally all they had time to do. Missions were not as hardcore as they were. Yes, you had people like Naruto and Sai out there rounding up rogue ninjas, and occasionally people like Kankurō. But with Naruto and Sai doing a lot of the heavy lifting, people like Kankurō had time to put all their energy into training their students. On paper, this new generation, and even the back end of Naruto and Kakuro's generation, They had the potential to surpass Naruto's generation. They were smarter, they were stronger in some cases at the same age. They were more skilled, but power without any type of scars. It created a dangerous illusion, the belief that talent alone was enough. People like Kankuro saw that students like Amagi were getting arrogant. What killed Amagi wasn't a lack of skill, it was innocence, it was overconfidence. The kind that assumes that the enemy that you're fighting will fight cleanly because that's how the sparring matches go with your sensei. That danger would be something that announces itself. That victory belongs to whoever strikes first, whoever strikes the hardest. Real combat doesn't work that way. Veteran shinobi like Kankurō know that battles are won in half seconds, in patience, in restraint, that panic can be fatal, that overconfidence can be fatal, and the moment that a shinobi stops respecting the unknown, they're already dead. This is the quiet crisis that Kankurō realized, and one that later exploded in the Boruto-era. When Naruto became Hokage, we saw, especially in the anime, multiple Kage, they openly questioned whether or not this new generation could survive a Otsutsuki level threat. Not because the kids they lack strength, but because they've never fought enemies who exist beyond reason, morality, and convention. This new generation was soft. The fourth ninja war, they forged monsters and heroes alike because it forced people to endure loss without explanation. The Boruto generation grew up protected by that sacrifice, shielded from the kind of trauma that teaches restraint the hard way. But people like Naruto and Sasuke saw there are kids in this new generation, yeah, they're skilled, yeah, they're strong. They might be soft, but they got the potential to surpass us at the rate that they're growing. Kankuro saw this in his student. Kankuro's lesson goes deeper than tactics. When Amagi demands that the enemy dies, Kankuro doesn't stop him out of mercy. He stops him out of necessity. Killing out of hatred doesn't heal the dead. It only continues the cycle. He's seen where those roads live. He's seen where those roads lead other shinobi. Sasuke was able to survive it, but Madara didn't. Obito didn't. They were brilliant. You could argue they were justified. They were all convicted in their pain. They were all convinced that their pain gave them the right to decide the world's fate. To endure as a shinobi means carrying hatred without becoming it. It means acting with control when violence feels righteous. That's the lesson that Kankuro was teaching his student, not as a philosophy, but as essential survival. Because in a world where gods can descend from the sky, raw power isn't what saves you. Instead, it's endurance that does. Obviously, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, clicking on the left to check out more videos from the After Naruto Shippuden playlist, or click here on the right to check out videos from other two anime channels where I talk about non-Naruto anime and manga.